Hi everybody, it's Mary Jo from Mary Jo's Creations. Welcome back to my channel. And today we are trying to finish up our Granny Square Valentine's Day sweater. Cardigan. Sorry. And I know I was working on it in yesterday's video. I finished all the front squares, and then I realized something. I was trying to make them all match, and I realized that I didn't have space. When I put them all together, they matched completely, and I didn't have space in the back for, like, the neck part or the opening. So I decided to do more rounds to the back one. And it'll just make the sleeves, fall down more, like on the sides, which I'm totally okay with. If you know what I'm talking about, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll understand once I put it together. What I'm trying to figure out right now is whether I should do just 2 extra rounds or 4 extra rounds. And I'm going to check that out as soon as I'm done with this round, because this will be 2 rounds. Now, the colors on the squares are not going to line up perfectly because honestly, I just don't want to. I don't, like, that's just my personal preference, and this is for me. I'm just testing out the pattern to see, how I would make it, and that's normally how I create patterns. I really do it for me first and figure out the sizing. Once I have my size down and I do the measurements, I can pretty much figure out up or down, what the sizing will be. So I do it for me first, also because that way I can see how it fits and if I like it, if I like the way it looks, and, things like that. Because, again, I did start crocheting for myself. But now I do have some of my items on my website. It's in the description box, Mary Jo's Creations. It's all the same thing, maryjoescreations.com. And when I write a new pattern, what I like to do is always do it for myself to see if, number 1, I like the way that it looks, number 2, how it comes out, and then I make all the notations, so if I want to repeat it and make another one, I can. And then whatever kinks need to be worked out, they get worked out from there. And then normally, like, by the 3rd time I make it, that's normally what I might put up on my website, because I know that by then it'll be, I don't like saying the word perfect because nothing is ever perfect, but it'll be done. It'll be, whatever kinks might be in it will be worked out, and, it'll be something that I will be proud to put on my website. And I'm also very meticulous, even for myself. Like, if there's, if I don't really like the way that it's working up, I will rip it down and redo it because what I wear is a reflection of me and a reflection of what I do put up on my website. So I try to make it as close to perfect as possible. So when I just finished doing the front squares, and I'll show them to you in just a few minutes. I just want to try and finish this round right here. Or let me just finish up this yarn that's on there, and then I'll show you and give you a little sneak peek. All the front squares are done. And what I'm going to do in order for them to be the same length as this square, so the front panels will match the back panel lengthwise, is I'm going to be doing a join as you go on the two squares, right? And that should make it line up. And that's what we're working on right now. So today it's going to be Granny Square Cardigan Day, I guess. And I would really like to get this finished. At least everything attached today, so that, you know, by tomorrow, which is Friday, I can have the work on the sleeves. That's all I'll have to do is work on the sleeves. And I'm hoping to have, if I can get this all attached today, I can have the outline done as well. And, you know, get as much of it done today as possible. And hopefully tomorrow all I'll have for the sleeves, because, you know, my goal for this week was to have at least 3 or 4 finished items. Now, I did finish my sweater, which did count for this week because I finished it on Sunday, right? And I yesterday made a messy bun, I don't know what you would call that. I was trying to make ear warmers, but it did come out a little too high. But it is good if you want to wear, you know, a messy bun with it. Kind of like, you know, those messy bun hats that have like just a small opening on top. That's pretty much what it came out like. And I think I did make it a little too wide, so I want to make another one that's not as wide. I might start that maybe in a little while when I go to edit tomorrow's video, because this one I will be putting up in a little bit. I know it's a little bit late today, but I did, honestly, I did not get a chance to finish editing the video for my sweater. If you saw yesterday's video, yesterday was a little overwhelming for me. So I'm sorry if you saw that meltdown. But I did work on some of the squares yesterday. And for the most part, I just, you know, tried to take it a little easy. So in between, I would just pick up the ear warmer that I was working on, and I finished that yesterday. I can show that to you too. And today I had gone out earlier with a friend of mine, and while we were in the car, while she was driving, I started a beanie. Double-stranded with the same yarn that I made the ear warmer. I was actually going to do another ear warmer. I had started it too, but I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. So if you're like me, you know, I just wasn't feeling it. and I decided to just like, I didn't have a lot done, so I ripped it back and I started a beanie. And I do want to get that finished by tomorrow too. So, you know, sometimes when, especially when you're doing something big like this, you want a small little project that you could grab and finish. You know, they won't take you very long to finish in between making something big like this. And for me, that's usually hats. Like, I can knock out a beanie in an hour, hour and a half, depending on how long I make it. This one, this is the first time I've ever double-stranded a beanie. Normally I either make it with regular, you know, one strand of yarn with the regular 4-weight like I'm using for this, cardi, or I use a chunky yarn. But I had put that one in my bag because, again, I was doing the ear warmer. And so instead of just, you know, single stranding it, I decided to just double strand it. And I've never done that before, so we're going to see how it works out. Now, I believe that I finished all the rows of increase. So now I finished the crown, and now all I'm working on is the body of the hat. And I think that's like another 5 rounds. I can't remember if I do 10 rounds altogether or if I do 5 rounds of the body and, of the crown and 7 rounds of the body. I can't remember off the top of my head. Normally, I just know when to stop. And the hat's pretty much halfway done. So, hopefully we can get that hat finished by tomorrow too. I think that on Monday's video, I had some goals that, you know, I wanted to get a few items done this week for Valentine's Day. So the hat and the beanie are both pink, kind of like a darker pink and a medium pink and a light pink. And this cardigan is all kinds of pink. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to do anything else this week. Because, again, these big cardigans and sweaters, they do take up a bit of time. I also want to get a little bit more organized when it comes to exactly what projects I want to make during that week and, you know, getting them done. Just have a general list. And I don't have to do everything on the list, right? I mean, the list could have, let's say, 10 things that I want to make for Valentine's Day. And we just want to get as many of those done as possible within that week, right? So for next week, which is the first week of February, I also want to just stay focused on everything pink for Valentine's Day. Pinks, reds, we'll figure out what else I want to make. I'm going this weekend to take a little time and try and organize everything a little bit better, try and get a little more structure, and hopefully, you know, find a little more structure in these videos. If you want to see me do something specific, you can always leave it down in the comment. You know, I really don't, I don't know, I tend to do things differently than most people. And really, this is more of a, like, trying to figure things out together kind of vlog, right? Obviously, I crochet for myself. I crochet for items to either sell or give as gifts or whatever it is. And I'm not the conventional type. I like to do things my own way. And there are quite a few different things that I want to do. I don't know if I'll be good for like challenges because I can't, because of my fibromyalgia, I can't really do things like, you know, most people. I can't sit here for 4 or 5 hours in a row and crochet. As much as I would love to, I can't. If you're new here, the longest I can sit and crochet at a time is maybe an hour and a half. And then I need to take a break. And then I can maybe crochet for another hour and a half. Sometimes less, sometimes more. It all depends on how my fibromyalgia is behaving that day. On a good day, in total, I might be able to crochet for 6 hours that day. If I'm lucky, maybe 8. But that's very rare. And sometimes, you know, not possible at all. Sometimes I'm lucky if I can crochet, you know, for 3 hours that day. So doing challenge videos for me is unfortunately not something I could do within a day. Maybe like, how many can I make in 2 days? Or 3 days, maybe. You know, I do like to make a lot of big things, like sweaters and cardigans, because I do like to wear a lot of cardigans. And unfortunately, good cardigans are very expensive. And for me, it's just much cheaper being able to get yarn and make it for myself. Also, especially since, you know, I can't sometimes find something that fits me the way I want it to fit me, right? Because I am a top heavy and, you know, I'm not shaped like most girls. Because, I mean, I am a little bit heavy right now, a little bit thick right here. But I have gone down a little bit. But, you know, unfortunately, my boobs don't go down much. Give me 1 second. Let's count these rows. I should have 22. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, we have 22 rounds. All right, and this is what it's looking like so far. Now, the front panels, I think, are big enough. I think this is better now than it was before anyway. This should come down to where I want it. So, give me 1 second. Let me check something out, and I will be right back. Okay, I think I made a decision. Now, I was trying to figure out what color I was going to use to connect all of this, right? And For this round right here, the hot pink, the next color would be this one here. And for these, if I follow the pattern this way, the next color would be this one here. But I didn't want to use that color, right? So I think that I am going to use this color because I like this color a lot better than this color. This color, I think it's Dusty Rose. What is this? Light Rose. But I don't know. It gives me this feeling like it's kind of like dirty. I don't know. I don't want to use that as the color to connect everything. So what I think I'm going to do is use this one. I should definitely have more than enough yarn of this color. And what I am going to do is, this is why my things always, the first time I make them, come out oversized. Because I don't know. I think I do the math right. And then it doesn't look the way I want it. And I say, well, let me do this. And then it ends up being a little bit bigger. But honestly, I'd rather have something oversized than have something that's tight and I can't wear it, right? So right now, I think that for this big square, I am going to go up 2 more rounds. So we're going to add some more hot pink and then do 1 round, 1 complete round of this color, which is the next color. And then we are going to use this color to attach the front squares. And honestly, it's my cardigan, so the colors, once the squares are done, the colors don't have to match exactly. I'm going to do it my way and see how it looks. It's not like these squares are done, like, you know, perfectly anyway. The yarn lands where it lands, dude. That's how I do things. I like things that are a little off and a little unique. That's what makes them special, right? You know, I'm off and unique. I mean, I'm a little off, and that makes me unique, and I think that makes me special. People who really know me think that I'm really off, but that's okay. They love me anyway. So, right now, I hate when I do that because I don't know which way to go. Alright, we're going to slip stitch this back right in here. And like I said, we're going to do 2 more rounds. I do like my cardigans long. And I do like them a little oversized. So we are going to do it this way. And again, like I said, like this will give me a good idea once it's done, especially if it's like really big, right? It'll give me, I'll know exactly how many rows to go up for each size, how many rounds to do for each square to get it the size that I want. And then what I would like to do is eventually get one done in like a few sizes, right? And I am using a 6mm hook, so it does, I prefer using a 6mm hook when I do cardigans and sweaters because it makes them, number one, it does make them kind of oversized just by the hook size alone. Because some of my original designs were done in a 5 or 5.5 millimeter hook. And by doing them in a 6, it, one, makes them a little more flowy, and 2, gives it that oversized look without having to add any rows. So like my Hexie cardigans, when I first started making them, I believe my first one was done in a 5 millimeter hook. And I think my second one was done in a 5.5 millimeter hook. And that was purely by accident because I grabbed the wrong hook size. But then, like, you know, I wanted it to be a little bit baggier without adding any more rounds. So that's when I decided to go up to a 6 millimeter. So if I have someone who wants something that's a little bit more fitted and a little more true to size, then I'll use a 5.5 millimeter. Because that one did come out very nice. But if I want something that's a little bit more baggy and a little bit more flowy without adding any more rounds, I use a 6. So for me, most of my items that I wear are done with a 6 millimeter hook because I get that nice, real drapey look, and the baggy look without, you know, having to constantly change the rounds. So if I want to, let's say, make this cardigan again and have it look a little bit more fitted and a little bit more, there's a word that I'm looking for that I can't remember right now. But, you know, I wouldn't remove any rounds. What I would do is size down my hook. Now, if I'm going to be making a different size, then I will remove rounds. And if, you know, if I want the baggy look for it and the more flowy look, I'll use a 6. If I want a more structured and, you know, not so like a more fitted version, then I'll use a 5.5. And you think it doesn't make that much of a difference, but trust me, half a size or half a size in your hook does make a big difference. And that is a video I want to make as well. Once all this, you know, holiday business is over with, because right now, right after Valentine's Day, there are some things that I would like to do for St. Patty's Day. And then once that's over, then there's a lot of things that I need to get organized and put together. And a lot of video ideas that I have in order to do that. There's things that I want to show. And I've discussed this all. And I will discuss it a little bit more in more detail once my next video comes out. So maybe like next week. But I do want to go through all of my old patterns and hopefully be able to tweak them and get them worked out where, you know, they're great, and hopefully, you know, get those out. If anyone would like to do something that I have. And so we're going to be recreating a lot of my old stuff. This pattern might be one, the sweater that I'm wearing right now is one that I want to recreate. Because I love this sweater, but I made it a crop top. And I realized I'm not really a fan of crop tops. I like my cardigans long. And that's the only real issue that I have with this, is that it's a little bit too, I would like it a little bit longer. It doesn't have to be super long like my Hexies or like the way I know this one's going to turn out. But I do want it a little bit longer. And that's what I mean by like tweaking my my old patterns. It's like there are things that I would change on all the first things that I made. Like this cardigan here. I would definitely change the length. I want it a little bit longer, which means these panels were done like this way. So I would have to make these panels, these rows, a little bit longer. And this is all shaping. So the panel really starts from here. It goes from here to here. And this here was all shaping that I did once it was put together. And I really like the way it came out, and I want to do another one, but I want to make sure that all the stitch counts and everything were done right the first time. And they will also be altered because I'm going to make it a little bit longer. And just things like that. And, you know, have a shorter version and a longer version. Make sure that, you know, it's going to work out the way I have it written down. And I hope that that's something that y'all are going to like to see, because we are going to be recreating a lot of beautiful things and making a lot more. Like this beautiful cardigan. If this comes out really good, then I am going to be making another one in different colors. I would like to make one in, if it's going to be for me, I would really like to make one in granny squares like this, in like neutrals, like grays maybe. I do want to make myself a Hexie cardigan in black and gray. I do have one up on my website for sale. But I think that one was done with a 5.5 millimeter hook, and I want mine done with a 6. I like mine a little bit baggy. That's just how I like my stuff. So, and I might do it a little bit different than that one. And I also think that one was done in big twist yarn. And I would kind of like to make mine in loops and threads, because it is a little bit thicker. And it's good for like the winter time or fall. And I have a friend of mine, he also wants one in black and gray, so I will be making his first. But there are a lot of fun things that are going to be happening this year, and I can't wait to get that done. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Like right now, this is for me, right? And this is just, I'm working out the pattern. I'm doing this for the first time. This is where I get all my measurements. So if something's a little bit off, and again, it's going to be for me. So if something's a little bit off, as long as it doesn't change the stitch count in the end, I'm okay with it, right? So right now, I am halfway through this round, and I only need one more round left. I just noticed that I have 2 clusters right there instead of 3. Now, honestly, if it was to go up, if it was for someone or for me to put up for sale, then I would go back and rip it out And, you know, I'd frog it all the way back and I'd redo it. But for me, I'm not doing that because I'm just not. And, you know, for me, those little imperfections, I think it makes it look a little special because I know it's mine, if that makes sense. But whatever extra I make, like, obviously, I'm going to have to make these patterns at least 2 or 3 times, right? Maybe once in a different size. And let's be real, I'm not going to keep all of them. So, you know, the ones that once I redo them to work everything out, those, which will come out better than these, will be put up on my website if anyone would like to get one. You know, I love making things. I love creating things. And I love perfecting what I do as much as possible. And again, nothing is absolutely perfect. And that's what I think makes things special. But I try to get to as close as perfect as possible. And hopefully this will come out the way I'm envisioning it. And it'll be something that I am going to want to recreate and put up on my website. But this is the last week of January. So next week and the following week, all I want to do is create things for Valentine's Day. And, you know, unfortunately, I don't know if there'll be anything up on my website for Valentine's Day, maybe some hats or something like that. But my goal this year is to tweak out all the little things and work everything out so that next year we will definitely be prepared for all these holidays. And we'll have patterns that are going to be perfected and items that are going to be listed, and I'm still working that out. I don't, you know, I'm still trying to figure this all out as I go. So that was another reason for starting this channel, was so that I can figure it out with you guys. And I could document this journey that I'm on with you guys. And have some fun along the way. Make some pretty things along the way. And figure out how to navigate this new chapter in my life, I guess. And get things, you know, figured out together. And learn together. And I can share with you what I've learned, what mistakes I've made, what corrections I've made, and stuff like that. And soon I will be showing you, like, how I do my granny squares. Maybe make a little tutorial if you would like that, to show you just how I make my granny squares, or how I make something. Again, I don't use patterns. I really don't use tutorials for anything, except for, like I did in the beginning, like for basic stitches and stuff like that, or like how to form a raglan and stuff like that. But all the calculations, all the math on this stuff, what stitches I use, all that, that's all mine. I don't it's just everything that I create in my head. And I'm still trying to figure out how, like, that would translate into me doing certain things, because I don't want to, I just want to create. I see things in my head that I want to do and what stitches I might want to use and how I might want to do it. And sometimes I do see pictures that are, that I get inspiration from. And like I said, I might go on and like see how the construction of something is made, right? Like how it started, like when I first made a raglan, I figured out that it was like, you do the chain and then you figure out the spacing, how much space you want to leave in between the arms and in the front and the back. And then you count out those stitches and then you do the little increase. And that's what I took from whatever video, which honestly I cannot remember because that was almost 2 years ago. So I don't know. But that's what I got from the video. Now, all the math and stuff like that, I do that all on my own because raglans are, most raglans, not most, all the ones that I see are high collared, right? They have like either a turtleneck or they sit right here. And if you've watched my videos before, you know very well, I do not like anything that's above my collarbone. I feel like I'm being choked. So that's what I had to learn when I was doing the raglans, how to do my math so that it stays, where I want it to stay. And that took me a few tries. The first one I made was way too wide, and it's that sweater that I wear quite a bit. That's off the shoulder, like really off the shoulder. And it came out really oversized. And then the next one I did was still a little too tight for me because then I went down way too much, which was still a lot wider than what most raglan patterns call for. And I still didn't like it. So this time when I made my birthday sweater, I adjusted it and changed it to my liking. So while I might use I'll go online for reference and to see the structure of something, but for the most part, everything I make are my own designs and my own calculations. And if y'all want me to share that, I will figure out how to do that. If you want to, make a sweater like mine, I will figure out how to do that so that I can get you my pattern and you can do it the way I do it. And that's, I don't know. I want to share, I want to help people who have my problem, who is hard for them to, you don't like certain styles, because every raglan that I looked, it was everything is very high collar. And I can't do that. In a lot of sweaters that I see, there's not much shaping done around the neck. Everything is very close to the neck. Close collars like crew necks. I can't wear those. I can't wear those. And that's why I really didn't buy a lot of sweaters ever. Because I have a drawer. People would give me sweaters and I barely wore any of my sweaters because I just can't wear anything that close to my neck. And so when I choose to make a sweater of some kind, when I first started and I was looking, that's another reason why I started doing things my way and figuring it out, because it's very hard to find certain patterns that are made where it's not that way, or there's very little shaping, or it's just a regular collar, and I don't like those. So I decided to try something different and do it my way. And if you're interested in having, you know, something my way, you know, like the sweaters that I make, then I will be open to figuring out how to go about doing that. And I hope I can help somebody. I hope I can help somebody figure out, you know, how to do it in a way that they like it. And I don't know if I'm making sense. You let me know if I'm making sense down in the comment section. But I'm almost done with this round. And I've been crocheting for a while and talking for a while. So I'm going to finish, hopefully be able to go all the way around. And this one might come out a little oversized. I probably should have just removed 2 rows on the front squares, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted those front squares to stay the way they were. So that meant making the back square bigger, and we're going to see how it works out. And hopefully it'll come out looking beautiful. So, you know what? It's getting rather late. And I don't know if I'm going to get this video up early. It might actually go up. I don't know. I was planning on doing this earlier, but I did go out with my friend for a little while, and I started filming kind of late. And I kind of wanted to have this attached, but you know what? Wow, this is coming out rather large. But I guess it's experiment time. That's what happens when you're not using a pattern and you're making up your own. Sometimes things don't tend to go as planned. But all right. I am going to go finish this off, and I would like to end this video by showing you at least all the squares finished and the panels, you know, put together. So let me go work on this, and I will be right back. For you, it'll just be a second, darling. I need a break. Ooh, I was still filming. I'll see y'all in a minute. Okay. Hey, everybody. It is the next day, and it is already kind of late. I was able to connect the entire cardigan. I don't know if I showed this last night, but it's all connected. There's the back. And I already started one sleeve. And I'm just trying to see, like, you know, how to do the decreases or if I should leave it this way. But this is what it's looking like right now. And here's the front. And I'm going to be working on this for the rest of the night. Hopefully, I will get it finished by tonight. But I'm going to end this video here because it should have gone up already. And actually, this video should have been up yesterday, but that didn't happen. And I wanted to have it at least connected, which I did. I was able to join everything yesterday. And I know you can't really see it, but it is all joined. And yes, I have to weave in my ends. I haven't done that yet. I was going to do it, but then I didn't feel like it. So I started working on the sleeve. Now, just wanted to show you one more thing. What I did do when I wasn't sitting over here, between yesterday and today, I made a hat. I do have to sew in all the ends, but I did a double strand beanie, which I've never done before. I've used the thick yarns, but I've never done, and this one is a little bit oversized because, again, you know, I do like them when they're a little bit longer than, you know, the regular fitted. You could wear it where you slouch it a little bit, or you can push it all the way down, or you could tuck your hair in, or whatever. And some people have thicker hair than others, so, you know, it won't sit as well. So I do like to make them like this as well. And I thought that this looked pretty. And then, you know, I did my little regular border that I like to do. I could have done just one half double crochet and one single, but I decided to do the double. And I just think that looks so pretty. I mean, half doubles. 2 rows of half doubles, 1 row of single. And I love the way it came out. And you let me know. This one, I don't know. This one will probably be for me to wear on Valentine's Day or my birthday. I do have, I believe I showed it, but I'll show it on Monday when I do my video of everything I made this week, which I think I do want to start doing that. Do a little video for Monday showing everything that I've crocheted within the week, right? So since this video is coming out today, which is Friday, I am going to finish editing my video for the sweater, and that will go up tomorrow. And since I didn't post twice this week, I'll post on Saturday. So you'll still get the same amount of videos. It'll just be, you know, it is what it is at this point. You know, I'm not going to force myself. And, you know, because of my condition, it's very hard. I had this pain in my back, in my muscle that, you know, has been there for days, and it's just driving me crazy. But anyway, if you watch this video till the end, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you. I will continue working on this tonight and filming it. So hopefully that will be like Tuesday's video. And tomorrow you get to see my birthday sweater. that I made so that I can wear on Monday. But again, thank you so much for watching. If you are not subscribed, you should hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell, and it'll let you know when I'm on. And please like this video. It would help my channel so much, and it would help even more if you leave a comment. Say hi, what you doing, how you doing, whatever you want to say. And thank y'all so much for watching and for being here. And I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye, guys.